Okay, hello, welcome to this weather update at 6 p.m. November 11th, 2020. Of course, it is Veterans Day, so let's remember all our veterans. But the latest news on Ada is it did wind up hitting hurricane very briefly. And it says right here on the AccuWeather site, it did become a hurricane very briefly. And you can see here, there's been some flooding in Tampa Bay, state of emergency with Florida, and this thing is really causing some pretty bad waves, as you see there. So, looking at the latest radar from Tampa Bay, you'll see here is Tampa. You'll see here the rain's coming in. Looks like a tornado warning in effect for South Saluda, whatever that is, south of Tampa. So again, some of these outer bands causing some tornadoes. Tropical storm warning is in effect. Let's go to the Hurricane Center and get the latest on Ada. And you'll notice the map. We have Ada, we have Theta, we have this disturbance here. But let's focus on Ada. All right, and we're going to go to the latest public advisor, and I'd like to go to the previous one, if possible, when it was a hurricane, if I can find it. I guess I'd have to hit archive to get to that. Okay, here we go. So let's get to the latest one here on that. November 11th. So let's go to the one as of this morning. I think it was 1500 when it was a hurricane. Let's see. This isn't the same thing as what I'm reading here. Hold on, maybe the different kinds. Public advisories, yeah, that's what we need. All right. Let's go to the 10 a.m. one. So let's see. This is when it was a hurricane. So it was a minimal hurricane. This was this morning. All right. The winds peaked at 75 miles an hour, and minimum surface pressure got down to 983 millibars to 9.03 inches. I wanted to see that, what it got to. So it was a minimal hurricane, but it did wind up being a hurricane. So here is the latest now on Ada. Ada has changed little this afternoon. So while it may not technically be a hurricane, it's still a very strong tropical storm. So as of 4 p.m., its location is 27.3 north, 83.6 west, about 65 miles west-southwest of St. Petersburg, Florida, about 85 miles southwest of Tampa, Florida. Maximum sustained winds are 70 miles an hour, moving north at 12 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 990 millibars to 9.24 inches. So it has weakened a little bit, but you'll see storm surge warnings are in effect for the west coast of Florida. Tropical storm force tropical storm warnings also in effect as well, and the extent of the winds go out to 115 miles. Okay, so we go ahead and we look at the graphics here. You will see here that tropical storm warnings are in effect for much of the Florida west coast, except for the southern part. So, and then for the going into the panhandle a little bit, you got tropical storm watches. All right, and this is going to be, and this is the map here, so we're pretty sure where it's going to go. It's going to cross Florida, then it's going to just turn into a weak depression as it moves out into the Atlantic. But it did become a hurricane, and I was saying the Hurricane Center really should have had it at hurricane strength for a little bit, because it was all indicating, all the models were indicating we were going to see that strengthening this morning to a hurricane, and that's exactly what wound up happening. It did wind up strengthening to a hurricane and then weakening to a tropical storm, but it's literally just a classification. You got to think of it as just as strong, all right? I mean, the difference between 70 miles an hour and 75 miles an hour is just a name, all right? The effects are going to still be pretty much the same from this. So let's look at tropical tidbits. Let's look at the latest satellite imagery for Ada. And this is the leak. You can still see there's a nice blow up of convection right there on the latest frame. So this thing has still got plenty of punch to it, that's for sure. What I would like to also look at is we're going to look at some observations, and we're going to also look at some satellite images too as well. So let's start with these satellite images. I want to look at some of these other satellite images here from this. We can get that. All right, this is our area. I got to change it to the southeast. And we're going to just do the regular, not colored one. Okay, so I want to make this a longer loop. Let's make this 72. So you can just see what it was like when it was a little stronger visible thing here. We're just waiting for it to load here. Hopefully it'll load. Here we go. So yeah, you clearly see the characteristics. This thing is definitely quite a system. You can see the blowups of convection even farther away from the center. You can see this has got a lot of moisture to work with. And again, this is Eta right now. It looks like it's making aim at Tampa or just north of Tampa. At this point, it'll be interesting to see where it makes landfall. So let's go to the models on this. So these are the models. And luckily, there is a consensus that this thing is going to make a landfall. It looks like just north of Tampa, and then go across northern part of Florida, and then emerge back out over the ocean again. But look at this. This thing could stay intact in some form all the way out this far, which is crazy. I mean, this storm has gone on for so long already. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. And then, well, then we got another storm that we got to watch, and that is Theta. All right, this one is not a danger to us in the United States, but it might be a problem for Europe. So let's get the latest public advisory on Theta. So Theta is marching east. Tropical storm Theta is marching east-northeastward over the eastern Atlantic. As of 9 p.m., its location 30.5 north, 31.9 west, about 590 miles south-southwest of the Azores. Maximum sustained wind 60 miles an hour, moving east-northeast at 13 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 992 millibars, 29.30 inches. So maximum and the winds extend outward up to 205 miles per center. So it is a large storm as well. And you'll see that they do have they only expect slight weakening for the next couple of days, and then faster weakening as it moves closer to Europe as we get toward the weekend. This is the map of what it looks like. So you see it doesn't look like it's going to affect anyone. There's some islands over here that we'll have to watch for, but it should be, by the time it gets close to those islands, it should be in a much weakened state. And I say should be because, again, we assume a lot on history, and we can't do that anymore because we're in a much warmer world now. The other system that we've got to watch is this. So this is going to be the next system that we'll have to watch. Right now it's only in the yellow. It's just a tropical wave. This would be our next named storm already. We've already set the record for the most named storms. We're not just going to set the record. We're going to smash the record this year. All right. This will become the next system to watch here. And this is what it looks like on the satellite map. So there's Eta, there's Theta, and there's that depression. That's got a 30% chance of development. So let's go now back to tropical tidbits, and we'll look at some of the models. Well, actually, no, I want to go back there, and we want to look at some of the satellite imagery. So let's look at the satellite imagery from Theta here. And actually, it's looking a little more impressive. So let's go look at this. So there's Theta, and still looking pretty impressive. I mean, this is an unusual area to see and an unusual direction of movement to see, but anything goes this year, you know what I'm saying? So let's go to the models. Oh, that's right. Before I do that, let's go look at the current weather conditions around Florida right now. All right. We have some wind gusts up there, 49 mile an hour wind gusts. 91, I have a hard time believing that's 91, but 35 mile an hour wind gusts, 22 mile an hour wind gusts. You do have some strong wind gusts in the areas here around Tampa. And this is the area that's getting hit very hard right now is Tampa. Another thing that I also wanted to look at is power outages as well. So let's do that. Go to power outages and see what affects the power. Let's see what effects the storm has. Florida has 17,919 power outages right now. It's probably mostly in that Tampa area. It's actually, no, it's in Monroe County. And there's some in Tampa, Sarasota, Manatee. Nothing too terrible so far. So, back to the models now, finally. We're going to look at the upper air pattern again and start with that. and change to a wider view. In fact, I'm going to want to keep this wider view throughout much of this large scale surface analysis. Again, this is the 18Z. So let's go look at the 18Z GFS. So let's go look at the 500 millibar upper air level, and you'll see that huge ridge in the east. There is Eta, and it's going to be slowly moving. You can see that huge ridge. You see the trough in the west. We have this bit of energy coming through. We have the cold front that's moving through. It's going to be this bit of energy that'll swing that cold front offshore on Friday afternoon, bringing us a dry Saturday and a nice day. And then we see that ridge build back. You'll notice there's that tropical wave developing into something down there. Right? We have another bigger trough next week that's going to bring some cold weather. Again, a good couple of days of cold weather. But then after that, we have a ridge. We do something like we're missing some data here. But you'll see here, there's that tropical system, and it looks like it wants to take it into Honduras, perhaps. Because we do have this ridge here, fortunately, and a good upper air pattern that's protecting us. It's going to keep this from coming toward the United States. This tropical system here, which I don't know, will be another Greek name. I don't know what the name would be. I forgot what it would be, but we'll know when it's named. I could look at the list, I guess, if we want, but that is going to be the next system to watch. So let's look at the European. The European has the same idea. So pretty much an agreement here. There's that trough for next week. It's going to be a really deep trough too, by the way. It's going to bring some really cold weather next week. So it looks like the Euro actually keeps the trough around, which is interesting. So it actually will keep us in the cold air for a while after. So we'll finally have some more seasonable weather, according to the Euro. So the Euro and the GFS have a disagreement now. The Euro wants to keep the trough in place and keep us cold, whereas the GFS does not. So that's very interesting to see. And we'll have to see how that all pans out in the end. So let's go look at the surface. We're going to move this back to the GFS here. I know I'm back in the CONUS view because it's kind of too far zoomed out to really see everything. It's good for upper air, but not for surface. This back over here. Okay, so you'll see there is the Eta, the low from Eta. You'll also see for us the front that is approaching and bringing us the rain that will bring tonight. And it's going to get some of that moisture from Eta. Tries to push it off to the south tomorrow night. All right, and then you can see the remnant low there. And then we could have a slight chance of showers on Friday with a little moisture. Then that high builds in, but it moves away pretty quickly. Next front comes in, and that's when we see that really cold air. It'll be really windy. You can see how tight those isobars are. That is a good direction for us. That's going to bring us some really nice cold air. We'll draw that out here for you. Bring some nice cold air right down from Canada. So it'll be definitely a big cool down for us once we get to next week, which definitely is much welcome because we've been dealing with a lot of above normal conditions across the area. A lot of above normal conditions. So you'll see that high, and then you just see it looks like a setup just for some cold weather next week, cold and dry, which is just the way I like it. And then we'll have to see after we get to that. And then we had that disagreement whether the trough will linger or not. So first we're going to go into Florida here and take another closer look at Eta. But I think we pretty much know what it's going to do at this point. So you can see it's going to weaken when it gets inland a little bit. You see it's tracking it in over that panhandle area. The main effects, because I don't think the winds are going to have an effect, but I don't think the winds are going to be the main issue. It's going to be the heavy rainfall and the coastal flooding. And then you can see the remnant of it go almost into the southern part of Georgia there, southeastern extreme Georgia. But you'll notice some of the heavy rain that's going to develop as this moisture gets pulled up over the Carolinas. There's going to be some really heavy rain associated with that, and then it moves out. We'll look at the NAM as well. So here's the NAM. Similar idea. See that heavy? The heaviest rain looks like it would be off to the south of us. So now let's go into our region. see how this all pans out for us. So this is the NAM. You see we're in the rain now. We're going to look at our radar in a moment. We're in the rain now, and you will see here that we're going to be dealing with the rain overnight into tomorrow morning. And it's going to last through the morning. And then we're going to slowly try to get this to the south after afternoon. And hopefully get rid of this rain. But it's going to be a decent amount of rain that's going to fall. And then we'll have another little chance of showers on Friday. With this little bit of energy associated with the remnant low of Eta right there. And then the high moves in. We will also, alright, so let's look at the total accumulated precip. So that's the total accumulated precip. You'll see the heaviest of the rain is going to be to the south of us. That seems to be the trend. So Long Island will see an inch, but if you're in New Jersey, southern part, you could see closer to 2 inches. GFS probably has a similar idea on that. Yep, GFS does as well. What about the HRRR as well? And again, I got to get the 18Z run that goes out a little further here. Similar idea. HRRR even keeps more of it, the heavier stuff to the south. So I think the heavier stuff does wind up staying to the south. If you do look at this, you'll see that it does wind up staying to the south. This is what it looks like here. So the heaviest of the rain does wind up staying to the south of Long Island, but we'll definitely have a rainy night and a rainy morning, and then we'll try to get rid of the rain. Now, according to this, the HRRR wants to linger another area of rain over us tomorrow in the afternoon. Hopefully that's wrong. It might be drizzle. We'll have to see what happens with that. So let's go back out to the GFS. Well, actually, I'll keep this on the only use the NAM. So we're going to look at the dew points next. Show you that we will get out of this humidity. So we're in the humidity right now. You can see we're thick in it, but this dry air comes in tomorrow morning, and that's it for the humidity. It should not return after that. Should be gone. So let's go to the GFS and look at our temperatures. Again, you'll see that similar idea here, that we have the warm air, and you'll see we're still going to start off with the warm air tomorrow, and then boom, it drops off in the afternoon and stays cooler as we head into the weekend for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We'll also look at the sky cover now. So here's the sky cover. Obviously plenty of clouds tomorrow and Friday, but then Saturday should be a mostly sunny day. Should be a nice day. I don't think I'll have far enough out from the NAM to look at the clouds, but we will look anyway. Now, the NAM has a tendency to overdo the clouds. We noticed that over the past couple days, so it might wind up overdoing it. This is, this only goes out to 060 Saturday. If you want to go a little further, you could look at the RGM. But we should clear it out, and Saturday should be a nice, mostly sunny day over the area. So let's go take a look at the current conditions across our area. We're going to move this to our area. We're going to just look at the current conditions and the high temperatures, and then we'll wrap up this weather update here. You'll see that there are flood watches in effect for the Carolinas because of all the rain. Nothing like that for our area yet. Looking at the current conditions, you'll see temperatures in the mid-60s. Dew points very humid, well into the 60s, so it's very muggy out there. Same thing in New Jersey, a little warmer, upper 60s. Dew points in the mid-60s there as well. Now, I'm curious to see what the high temperatures were today, so we're going to go look at that, and then we're going to wrap up this weather update. So highs across the island, mid to upper 60s, and in New Jersey, a lot warmer there. So they had some mid-70s over there, so not surprisingly. So that's going to wrap up this weather update again. Hopefully we can dry it out tomorrow afternoon, but we're going to have a rainy, at least a rainy next 20 or so hours, I guess, or 15 to 20 hours of rain. On and off, but the heaviest stuff will be off to the south. All depends how far we can get this front offshore. Anyway, take care and thank you for watching.